Hello, everyone, and welcome to Speak Up. I'm Ryan, and today we're diving into a fun topic, how to talk about your birthday in English. Whether you're chatting about upcoming plans, sharing past celebrations, or just mentioning your birth date, we'll cover natural ways to keep the conversation interesting and friendly.
That's right, Ryan. We'll go over simple phrases, conversation starters, and a few cultural tips that will help you talk about birthdays in a relaxed, engaging way.
So let's start with the basics. Stating your birthday and asking others about theirs. It's one of those simple topics that can open up a friendly conversation. For example, you could say, "My birthday is on July 12th." It's a straightforward statement, but it feels personal. It's especially useful in informal situations, like introducing yourself in a group or starting a friendly chat at work or school.
Absolutely, Ryan. And if you want to keep it light, you can add a little twist. For example, instead of just saying the date, you could say, "I'm a July baby," or "I'm a summer baby." It's a fun, casual way of giving the same information, and it can sometimes lead to more conversation. People might ask questions about what it's like to have a birthday in the summer, or they might share their own. Small details like this can make things feel more natural and engaging.
Exactly, Priya. And if you're curious about someone else's birthday, a simple, "When's your birthday?" can do the trick. But if you're looking to keep things even friendlier, you might say, "So, are you a summer, winter, spring, or fall birthday?" It's a little more conversational and often sparks a longer exchange. Sharing birthdays this way can feel more personal, and it often brings up fun associations with seasons or even zodiac signs, which some people find fascinating.
Yes, that's a great point, Ryan. Sometimes adding a personal detail, like, "I always feel like July birthdays are the best because of the warm weather," makes the conversation flow naturally. It's less about the birthday itself and more about the experience or feeling. If the other person has a different season, they might share why they love their own birthday month. These little exchanges help build rapport and make the conversation feel much more engaging and friendly.
That's such a good way to put it, Priya. And sometimes, even sharing your birthday month can create a connection. For example, if someone says, "I'm a December birthday," and you have a winter birthday too, it's an instant connection point. It doesn't have to be deep, just something fun and light to connect over. So, starting with the simple statement and expanding it with some context can open up an easygoing, friendly conversation.
Exactly, Ryan. And it shows you're open to getting to know others beyond the basic information. You're adding a little flavor to the conversation. So just remember, whether you're sharing your birthday or asking about someone else's, keeping it light and adding personal touches can make it much more memorable and engaging.
All right. So once you've shared your birthday, the conversation can naturally shift to talking about your plans. People are often curious, especially if your birthday is coming up. If someone asks, "What are you doing for your birthday?" a simple response might be, "I'm planning a small get-together with friends," or even, "I'm just going to keep it low-key with family." It's a nice way to keep things casual without getting too detailed, but it still invites further conversation if they're interested.
Yes, Ryan. And sharing a little more can make it sound even more natural. For example, you could say, "I'm really excited because we're planning a small picnic at the park, just a few friends and family." Or if you're keeping it simple, you could say, "Just a cozy night in with a movie and some good food." It's nice to give a hint of what you're looking forward to without making it sound too big. It also makes people feel welcome to share their own ideas or ask more questions.
Absolutely, Priya. It can feel really inviting when you share a few extra details. And for listeners who might be learning English, it's helpful to remember that you can talk about plans even if they're small. Something as simple as, "I'm planning to treat myself to my favorite dinner," is a perfectly natural way to answer that question. It's personal, but also approachable, and it can lead into others sharing their own birthday traditions or favorite ways to celebrate.
Exactly. And if you want to keep the conversation open, you can ask, "Do you have any fun birthday traditions?" Or, "How do you usually like to celebrate birthdays?" It's a nice way to get others to share. And sometimes you'll get some interesting, unique answers. It's amazing how each person has their own little way of celebrating, whether it's a quiet dinner or a big celebration. You might even pick up some fun ideas for your own birthday.
That's a great suggestion, Priya. I love how asking those open-ended questions keeps the conversation friendly and gives people a chance to share their personal touch. And if they seem curious, you could also add something like, "This year I'm trying something different," or "I'm keeping it simple this time around." It hints at a change in routine, and often people will follow up asking, "Oh, what are you trying?" It's a natural way to keep the conversation engaging.
Exactly, Ryan. It's about being open and creating a space where others feel comfortable sharing too. By mentioning your plans in a relaxed way, you're not only answering a question, but also making it feel like a real conversation. And who knows? You might end up with a new idea or two for future birthdays.
Now let's dive into sharing past birthday memories. This can be a great way to connect, especially if you have a story that's memorable or even a bit funny. You might say something like, "Last year my friend surprised me with a backyard party and it was amazing." Adding a little detail, like a funny moment or a favorite part, can make the story feel personal. Even if it's something simple, it shows a bit of who you are and helps others feel connected.
Exactly, Ryan. It's those little details that make the story feel real and relatable. For example, you could say, "A few years ago, I had a quiet birthday just with family, and my little niece sang me the cutest happy birthday song." It's these small moments that feel genuine and warm, and people often love hearing these kinds of stories. It doesn't have to be an extravagant celebration. Sometimes the simplest birthdays are the most memorable.
Absolutely, Priya. And even if it's not a perfect story, sharing something a bit funny or unexpected can be so engaging. Like, "One year, I tried baking my own cake and it totally flopped, but everyone had a good laugh about it." It makes you more relatable. And it's often those imperfect moments that get people laughing or sharing their own similar stories. Plus, it keeps the tone light and friendly, which can make conversations feel effortless.
Yes, and it's a great way to keep the atmosphere positive. You could even add something like, "That birthday ended up being one of my favorites because of how funny and unexpected it was." People love stories with a happy or amusing ending, and it encourages them to share similar experiences. It's about finding that balance between sharing something personal and inviting others to join in with their own stories.
Exactly, Priya. And for listeners, this approach can be a nice way to keep a conversation interesting without feeling pressured to tell a perfect story. Just sharing a small moment, whether it was funny, touching, or even a bit surprising, makes a big difference. It's a simple way to bond over shared experiences, even with people you might not know well.
Right, Ryan. Remember, it's not about impressing others, but about making genuine connections. Sometimes just saying something like, "That birthday turned out so differently than I expected, but it was amazing in its own way," can resonate with people. It's all about letting the conversation flow naturally and keeping it open for others to add their own stories.
So birthdays aren't just about parties and memories, they can bring up a lot of feelings too. Some people feel super excited, while others might feel a bit reflective or even a little nervous. It's natural. You might say something like, "I'm excited for my birthday, but it's also a reminder that I'm getting a bit older." It's a light way to express those mixed emotions, and people often relate to that feeling. Talking about your emotions around birthdays can actually make the conversation more meaningful.
That's a great point, Ryan. And sometimes it's as simple as saying, "I just want to spend the day doing something I love." It's a nice way to share what you're looking forward to without getting too deep into the feelings. But if you do feel reflective, you could say, "Every birthday, I like to look back on the year and think about what's changed." It's amazing how this kind of openness can make others feel comfortable sharing too. Birthdays can be a perfect time to bring up these reflections casually.
Exactly, Priya. And for people who might feel anxious about birthdays, it's also okay to mention it in a lighthearted way. Like saying, "I'm not really a big birthday person. I prefer to keep it low-key." It shows that everyone has their own way of feeling about birthdays. Expressing that you're looking forward to something simple can make the conversation feel personal without making it heavy. Plus, people appreciate the honesty. It often leads to them sharing their own thoughts on the day.
Absolutely, Ryan. And for those who like a bit of humor, you could say something like, "I'm excited for the cake, but not so much for the extra candle." It's a playful way to express the mixed feelings around getting older, and it keeps the tone lighthearted. People love a bit of humor around birthdays because it's so relatable. Plus, it opens up the conversation to others who might feel the same way.
That's a great one, Priya. Adding humor like that can really make the conversation fun and relaxed. And if you're someone who enjoys looking forward to the small things, you could say, "I'm mostly looking forward to spending time with people I love." It's a positive, simple way to express your feelings, and people will appreciate that honesty. It shows that birthdays don't have to be about big celebrations. They can be as personal as you want them to be.
Exactly, Ryan. Whether you're excited, reflective, or even a bit unsure, just sharing your honest thoughts on your birthday adds a genuine touch to the conversation. People connect with that authenticity, and often they feel inspired to share how they feel too. It's all about making it personal, but keeping it friendly and open.
So, another fun way to talk about birthdays is by sharing any unique traditions or customs you might have. This can add something special to the conversation and give people a peek into your personal life or even your culture. For example, you could say, "In my family, we always start the day with a breakfast that includes our favorite food." It's a small tradition, but these little personal touches make the conversation feel warm and inviting.
That's a great point, Ryan. It's amazing how sharing a family or cultural tradition makes the conversation more memorable. For example, you might say, "In my culture, we actually give treats to others on our birthday to share the joy." It's such a lovely twist, and often people find these customs fascinating. Even if your tradition is small, it shows a bit of your background, and people love hearing about different ways people celebrate. It often leads to others sharing their own traditions too.
Exactly, Priya. And sometimes, sharing these customs can be a way to introduce something unique. Like, every year, I get to pick a new place to go for my birthday, and it's become a family tradition. Even if it's not a cultural custom, these little family traditions are still special and add a lot to the conversation. Plus, sharing a personal tradition can make the other person feel more connected to you on a deeper level, beyond just the basics.
Yes, Ryan, and it's a great way to get others involved in the conversation. If they're interested, they might ask, "Oh, how did that tradition start?" Or, "Do you have a favorite birthday memory tied to that tradition?" It keeps things flowing and lets them share something similar from their life. Plus, it makes people feel closer and gives them a chance to bring up their own family traditions, creating a natural, friendly exchange.
Absolutely, Priya. And for anyone learning English, sharing traditions can also be a way to teach others a bit about your background without needing to go into too much detail. You could even say, "It's just something we've always done, and it feels special every year." Simple but meaningful. These kinds of details make birthdays feel more than just a date. They make them feel personal and unique, which everyone can appreciate.
Exactly, Ryan. It's the perfect way to add a little depth to a simple topic. And remember, even if you don't have a big family tradition, you can still share what makes birthdays special for you personally. Saying something like, "I just love making a wish before blowing out the candles" can be a nice touch. It's relatable, and it shows that traditions can be big or small, but they're always meaningful.
Now let's talk about birthday wishes and goals. Birthdays can be a great time to think about the year ahead, almost like setting a personal New Year's resolution. For example, you might say, "This year, I want to focus on spending more time with family and friends." It's a positive way to share what's important to you without making it too heavy. It's nice to add a little meaning to birthdays. People often appreciate that bit of reflection.
Exactly, Ryan. It gives the conversation more depth and shows that birthdays aren't just about celebration. They're also about growth. You could even say, "I'm hoping to learn something new this year, maybe a hobby I've never tried before." Sharing these small goals or wishes adds a nice personal touch. And sometimes people will chime in with their own goals, making it a really enriching conversation. It's a way to share dreams and ambitions in a relaxed, friendly way.
Absolutely, Priya. And for those who might be a little hesitant to share big goals, a simple wish is enough. Something like, "I just want to have a happy and healthy year," can resonate with almost anyone. It's universal and relatable, but still personal. When you share a wish like this, it can even make others think about their own simple hopes. It's amazing how a small statement can lead to a meaningful connection.
That's a great point, Ryan. And for listeners who want to go a bit deeper, you can share a reflection about the past year too. You could say, looking back, I'm grateful for all the growth I've experienced and the people who've supported me. It shows appreciation, and people connect to that sense of gratitude. Plus, reflecting on the past year helps make the conversation feel thoughtful and genuine, which people often appreciate.
Exactly, Priya. Birthdays can be a time to celebrate, but they're also perfect for reflecting on life's journey. Saying something like, "This year I want to focus on personal growth," or "I hope to keep improving in areas that matter to me," can be inspiring, even for others listening. It reminds everyone that birthdays are a natural time to think about our lives and what we want to achieve in the coming year.
Right, Ryan. So, whether it's a wish, a goal, or a simple expression of gratitude, sharing these thoughts around birthdays brings more meaning to the conversation. It makes birthdays feel more than just a date and gives everyone a chance to think about what truly matters to them.
Thank you for tuning in to Speak Up. Remember, birthdays are about much more than just a date on the calendar. They're about connection, reflection, and growth. So go out there and make those conversations meaningful. Until next time, keep sharing and stay connected. Take care, everyone, and here's to making every birthday conversation count.